welcome to episode 35 of the Graceful Tangle podcast. I'm Amy Kate, a young but passionate knitter and crocheter. You can find all of the links to my various social media platforms in the description box below, as well as the link to the show notes for this episode. So if you have any other questions or want links to everything I talk about, be sure to check on that link, and I will also have some other links to the products I talk about and things like that in the description box. However, if you have any further questions that the show notes don't answer for you, don't hesitate to reach out to me on any of my other platforms or in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to help you out in any way I can. I am so excited to be back with you guys today with another episode. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that little notification bell right by the subscribe button so that you know each and every time I upload a video. I am seriously so excited to keep chatting with you guys about all of these projects that I am working on. I have quite a few things to talk about today, starting with one finished object. So let's go ahead and hop into that. Alrighty, so I have one finished object to show you guys this week, and it is actually something that I wasn't even working on last week, which is kind of crazy, but it's something small, so it's no surprise that I finished it quickly. So this is one of my own patterns. It is the Blipped Messy Bun Beanie. So this is a bottom-up crocheted beanie. It has mostly double crochet. It starts off with some front post, back post, double crochet, and then the body of the beanie is alternating between double crochet and single crochet. So the blip kind of gets its name from these little blips of single crochet. So for this version, I used Knit Picks or We Crochet's Snuggle Puff yarn, and I used the colors Bunny is the gray, and then Platypup is the like really light lavender. There are two colors. It's showing up pretty well on the camera. However, you will probably notice that in the pattern pictures and my Instagram posts and things like that, you could hardly tell that I used two colors, just the way they kind of played together with the lighting that day. But anyway, I really love this beanie. I made this to kind of just update the pattern a little bit and kind of honor Free Pattern Friday. So this pattern was free last Friday, and I will link it down below in the description box. But I just love this little beanie. So yeah, it turned out super cute. I really like the way these two colors put together. This was actually my first time crocheting like a full project in this yarn, and I loved it. I really want to make like a full blanket in it. It's such a unique texture. It's so smooth to work with. Yeah, I really, really like it. So if you want to make your own beanie out of these colors, I have linked them below so you can check those out. But yeah, I really love this beanie. I made a bunch of these for Christmas gifts. It's just a super basic crocheted beanie. I'm actually considering making a fingering weight version and a full beanie version. So yeah. Let me know if you're interested in those things, because it's definitely something that I can create. But yeah, really, really like this beanie. And that is the only finished object that I'm going to talk about. I do have another one, but it is actually a brand new design that I'm not going to talk about quite yet. So you'll have to stay tuned until tomorrow, wink wink, to check that out. But yeah, so I am still working on quite a few other things though. So we're just going to go ahead and move right along into some works in progress. Excuse me, works in progress. Okay, so I have so many works in progress to talk about this week. I believe I have, I'm going to look at my show notes real quick. I cannot talk today. I have 5 works in progress that I'm going to talk about. So the first one is my January socks. Now I am actually exactly halfway done with these socks. So I have one sock finished. I finished it this morning, and this is what it looks like. So I talked about this last week, but in 2021 I have made myself the challenge to knit a pair of socks every single month throughout this year that are for me and somebody else's pattern. So I want to do 12 different pairs of socks, 12 different yarns, 12, or at least 12 different colorways, and 12 different patterns. That's my goal. That's my plan. I hope I can accomplish it. But so far, I am on track to complete my pair for this month, which is super exciting. And so here is the sock that I have finished. These are the Rye Light socks from Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Again, it'll be linked in the show notes. And I just love how these turned out. So I made a couple of modifications. I said this last week and I meant to look, but I completely forgot. I don't remember exactly what size I am knitting according to the pattern. However, I am doing the 52 stitch count. So if you are familiar with this pattern, I'm doing the 52 stitch size. And then I actually decreased the width of the quarter panel. So according to my size, it should be 4 stitches wider. And I just wanted mine narrower. I didn't want it to cover the complete top of my foot. And I am so glad I made that decision because I absolutely love how wide it is now. And I kind of just, I followed the pattern and I used it. But honestly, I just did my own slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. And then I did my favorite wedge toe that I've done on just about all of my socks. So I kind of took the pattern, took the stitch pattern, of course, but then I went from there. And that's kind of what I intend to do for all 12 pairs of socks. I mean, of course, if I, love the heel flap or something, I would alter what I would usually do. But for this, I just knew that I would just prefer a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and I already knew how to do it, so it wasn't, I didn't have to look at the pattern, basically. But yeah, really, really love this sock. I did a 20 round cuff, 20 round 1x1 cuff, a 50 round leg, and then I don't remember exactly how many rounds I did on the foot, but I have a total of 50 garter ridges, so that'll be kind of how I calculate the next sock. I actually have not started it yet because I just finished this first sock this morning, and so I didn't have any time at the time to cast on the second pair, or the second sock, but I will be doing that very soon. This yarn is from Ruby and Rose's yarn. It is the color Snow Day, and I actually have the label in another bag here. So let me grab that because I wanted to talk about it last week and I couldn't because I didn't have the label with me. Let me see if I can find it in here. Excuse the rattling. I have a little tin that is causing a bunch of racket. Okay, so this is her colorway Snow Day, and this is the rose gold base, 438 yards per 100 grams. It is 75% superwash merino, 20%. Yeah, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. So I don't know if you can tell on screen, but it is so sparkly, and I love it so much. Oh my goodness, I already tried this sock on. It fits absolutely perfectly. I love it so much. So yeah, and this is also a 2-ply, which is super fun. So it was my first time knitting a pair of socks with a 2-ply, and I absolutely love it. It was fabulous. I'm really looking forward to casting on and knitting the second one. So yeah, that is my first work in progress. My second work in progress is actually one of my own patterns. So I am knitting another Best Dude beanie, and this is what it looks like so far. Ta-da! I love this yarn so much. I use it, I used it in my Woolly Ridges Messy Bun beanie, and I just love it so much. So this is a super simple, beginner-friendly beanie pattern. It uses mostly 2x2 rib, and I love it so much. So this yarn is Knit Picks Simply Wool. This is the colorway Wordsworth and Wanda, and it's just a 100% wool yarn, and I love it. I really, really love using this yarn. It's very rustic. It's definitely woolly, like you can kind of feel the teeth in it. Like it's a very toothy yarn, but I love it. It's not too scratchy. It just feels earthy, but in like the best way. I really, really like this yarn. And then I am using size 6 needles, and I will link these down below. These are my absolute favorite Knit Picks nickel plated, and these are the shorties. So yeah, it's just a super mindless thing to work on. I mentioned this, I think, in the podcast I did after Christmas, but we got, my brothers got a ping pong table for Christmas, and so we've been playing lots of ping pong. And so, like, in between games, it's really nice to have, like, a super simple project that I can work on that is still, getting something done while I'm not playing, but I'm still paying attention to the other games. And this has been that project. So, it's been really, really nice. And in case you're curious, no, I'm not that great at ping pong. I'm getting better, I think. I'm just, like, unable to win multiple games, I think. Just gonna have to come to terms with it. Maybe one day I'll be able to actually, win a significant amount. But right now, I will just bask in the glory of winning one. Anyway, it's super fun. So it doesn't matter if you win, I guess. Alrighty, so that is that project, tangent aside. My next project is what I am working on for Make 30 for 30. So I talked about this last week as well. For the duration of January, I am choosing to work on my Weekendo for 30 minutes every day for 30 days to participate in the challenge that Nitty Daddy is hosting. And I am just loving this challenge. I am finding it a little bit difficult to find those 30 minutes each day to work on it. And I'm assuming that is going to be even more of a challenge come this week when school starts back with full force. However, I'm determined to still make it happen because I love this sweater, I love working on it, and I love setting those 30 minutes aside. So here is the progress that I have made. So I don't remember exactly where I was last week, but I'm pretty sure I had finished the body and was maybe about to start the first sleeve. But this is what it looks like right now. So the body is 100% done. I am almost done with the first sleeve. I have to actually take back one row. So I was working on this last night. It was actually super late. I didn't get around to it until super late. And I tried on the sleeve and thought that it was going to be long enough. And so I decided to actually shorten the last repeat. But now after trying it on again with it like fully on me, I decided to not shorten that repeat so that the sleeves would be nice and long and oversized. So I have about 7 rows left on the sleeve, and then I will do the sleeve ribbing. And I think I'm going to do about 10 rounds of rib. That could change. I don't think I'll do less than that. I might decide to do more, but I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, and then the first sleeve will be done. So we'll see how far I can get this next week, but I'm kind of thinking that I'll be able to do the entire second sleeve, which means that this might actually be done before January is over, which is crazy. I think if that happens, I'll just choose another project to work on. I recorded another video earlier this week that you will be seeing soon, so stay tuned for that. But in that I briefly mentioned that I wanted to kind of take this Make 30 for 30 challenge and stretch it over the course of the whole year. Now, what I kind of mean by that is being a knit and crochet designer, it is a little bit difficult to choose a project that is just for me versus something that I have to do for content or videos or pattern designing, etc. So with this challenge, I'm, for lack of a better word, forced to work for 30 minutes each day on something that's for me. Now that's kind of what I've chosen to do. I could have, chose 30 minutes to work on a design or work on a specific design or start a new blanket design and work on that for 30 minutes every day. And that might be something I do in the future. But I've decided to finish this long-term whip. And as I keep thinking about it, there's a few other, specifically sweater patterns that I really want to make, but it is so hard to find the time to do so. And I feel like if I was just going to challenge myself to knit on those projects for 30 minutes a day, then I would get so much done, and I would just completely love the process. So, I'm going to try to work that in. The rest of January is going to kind of be my trial run to see if that would work and be possible. And we'll have to see. I'm definitely going to be forming a new kind of routine and schedule this next week because school will be starting back. So if I can fit, an extra 30 minutes in to knit and crochet time, I am totally going to do it. So yeah, we'll have to see. But that's kind of my thought process behind that. So a little bit more about this sweater. I am using Hobby Lobby's I Love This yarn. I believe the color is Scarlet Rose, if I remember correctly. And then I am knitting the size extra small for the Weekendo. And it fits perfectly. It's going to be like the best knit sweatshirt, which is exactly what I wanted. The sleeves are a little bit big and oversized, but again, it's like perfect sweatshirt material. It's not too big. They fit so well. So really, really looking forward to having this done and getting some pictures and all of those fun things. But right now, I am just loving spending 30 minutes a day working on this project. It's been wonderful, even if it's been a little bit of a challenge to find those 30 minutes this week. It's been a busy week. It's been a good one, but it's been a busy one. And that is not going to end anytime soon. Alrighty, and then my next work in progress. We are still going. There are so many things that I'm working on. Alrighty, so 2 more projects. The first is a pair of socks for my dad. Now, these have quite a story behind them. So, this yarn, when I was about 12 or 13, so about 5 years ago, give or take, my dad took me on a little outing to a yarn store that was near us. It has now closed, unfortunately, but it was near us at the time. And to actually another yarn store that same day that is also close to us. It's a little bit more of a, it's a unique yarn store, I guess, but we went to both, and it was such an amazing day. I will never forget it. But one of the things that he purchased for me was this yarn. And at the time, he said, "Can you make me a pair of socks?" Like he said, "I will buy you this yarn if you can make me a pair of socks." And so I have never forgotten that. And this yarn has sat in my stash for years because I have been, I wasn't knitting socks for so long. And yeah, so his birthday is this coming Friday. So as you're watching this, it's like 3 days away. So hopefully I can get these done. But I am determined to turn this yarn into a pair of socks for his birthday and surprise him. And I am so excited. I'm very curious to see if he remembers this yarn. But we're going to have to see. I know he's going to love it regardless of if he remembers it or not. So the socks that I have chosen to knit are the heel toe do-si-do socks, which is so fun to say, by the way, from Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. And this is what they look like so far. So I have been wanting to knit this pattern for so long. Ever since I first saw it, before I was even knitting socks, I've been wanting to knit this pattern. And I purchased it a while ago when she was having like a special sale. And originally I thought that I was going to knit, myself the first pair or my sister. But as I was looking at this yarn, I realized that this would be the perfect pattern for it because it's self-striping. The yarn itself is very masculine. Like it's unique. I mean, it has green and blue and orange, but it's for the most part very masculine. And my dad loves crazy socks. He got a pair of socks for Christmas that are the Smart Wool brand, and they have flamingos and palm trees on them. Like, he loves crazy socks. And so I was kind of brainstorming a way to make these socks handmade and special and with this yarn, but still with a little bit of a quirky twist. And I thought this was the perfect pattern, and I love them so much. The pattern is amazing. It's been, absolutely perfect to follow. I am maintaining the pattern on the front of the sock, and then the back is just stockinette. So I really, really love how the stitch pattern causes the stripes to be straight and horizontal on the back, but then wavy and kind of chevron-y on the front. I think it's so unique. I just love how you can manipulate stitches like that. But yeah, I think my dad is going to love them. I'm just so excited to finally be knitting this pair of socks. I'm really, really, really thankful to be using this yarn. So I am knitting these socks on size 1 2.25 millimeter needles, just like just about all of my socks. And then I did a 20 round cuff, which is what I have really grown to love. I really like how long it is. And I'm going to do a 40 round leg and then into the foot. So that's these socks. I love them so much. I'm also knitting the size medium, so the 64 stitch count. I meant to mention that. But yeah, they've been great so far. I haven't had that much time to work on them yet, but I'm hoping to find some time soon because his birthday is so soon, and I am the queen of last minute gifts. Oh my goodness. I try so hard to, plan ahead, and then it just doesn't happen, but really excited about those. And then my last work in progress is actually yet another pair of socks. Can you tell I'm like completely addicted to sock knitting? It's a little bit of a problem, but I'm not mad about it either. So these are actually really fun because it is my first pair of socks that I am test knitting. So I'm not going to talk about these too much because the pattern is not released and it won't be for a little while. But I am going to show you briefly the sock and the yarn that I am using. So these are for, I am testing these for Perfectly Knotted on Instagram. Here is the socks so far. These are the Sporty Shorty socks. So this is what the sock looks like so far. There's a stripe. There's amazing arch support, which is absolutely incredible. I'm going to be talking more about that in a separate video. So I'll do a whole other video when these are released, and you'll hear me talk all about that then. But I'm not going to give too many details away just yet. But they have a slip stitch hair flapping gusset in a contrasting color, which is the first time I've ever done that. And it went by so quick. It was so easy. And I just love these so much. I love the colors. I love how stark the contrast is. I love the stripe. They are amazing. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to test knit for her. I am using Knit Picks Stroll in the colorways Cobblestone Heather and Treasure, which y'all know mustard is like one of my all-time favorite colors, and just pair it with a gray and I am a happy camper. So really, really love this pairing. And then I actually went down to a size 1 to 425mm needle. So it calls for a size 2, but I had to go down to a 1 to get gauge. And yeah, so I am actually going to be finishing those soon, and I imagine I won't be quite done with them next week, but we'll just have to see. So I will be doing a separate video all about them when they're done, so you can stay tuned for that. I'm not going to give too many details away before before the pattern is released. So that's it. Only those million works in projects. That's all I'm working on. So I actually do have a few designs that I'm working on behind the scenes, but they aren't quite ready to show yet. And I actually have a brand new pattern coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and hop right into devotion and a little bit of a life update. So for my devotional today, I wanted to talk a little bit about prayer. So my family and our church family are going to be going through a season of prayer and fasting this next week. And how I'm kind of treating that is just a way and an opportunity to be more disciplined with prayer. Prayer is something that is extremely important to all believers, and it's something that can become a little bit rehearsed. So, when we pray before a meal or pray over our day or before we go to bed, it's just easy for me to make it more of a, like a proclamation and just saying something versus actually deeply thinking about it and having a conversation with God. And so that's how I'm going to be kind of treating this next week, and how I want to encourage you through prayer. And I have just felt so encouraged by others through prayer this past week, and I wanted to share that with you. So earlier this week, I was tapping through some stories on Instagram, and one person that I follow has a really large family, and she was traveling. They had a long day of traveling, and at one point, she was telling the story of how at one point, while they were traveling, she was kind of hitting her breaking point. She was missing her AirPods. She had left them on the plane, and her family was about to miss their next flight. And she kind of just she said that she just said a little prayer. Obviously it wasn't like AirPods were the end all be all. They're not worth it in the long run. But she said a little prayer saying that, if there's any way to make that flight be delayed so that they could miss it, and if there is any way she could find her AirPods, then let it happen. She was literally giving her troubles, giving her anxiety over to God and asking Him to intervene. It's not like she was saying that her AirPods were more important than this trip or anything like that. It was just more of literally giving her worries over to the Lord, and that's exactly what we're supposed to do. And so she went on to continue the story, and she said that not long after she had said that little prayer that was kind of half-hearted, her AirPods were found and delivered right to her, and her family's flight was delayed by the perfect amount of time so that they could get on it and arrive home safely. And her point through all of that, and something that has been on my heart ever since I heard that, was just the fact that God is there, and He is ready and willing to answer our prayers. We just have to ask, and we have to commit and admit that we need His help and that we need Him to intervene in our lives. And it's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be, praying is something that can mean different things for different people, and that is 100% okay. But to me, I want to pray in such a way that it's like having a conversation with my best friend. I want to pray and actually talk to God and hear Him talk back and let Him show how He's responding through the way that the rest of my day goes. And that is my goal when I pray. And again, it's something that I'm still practicing, still getting better at, because prayer is practice. I mean, just like you can't go up on a stage and give a 10-minute long speech perfectly. You can't go into a conversation and think that you know everything about the topic and have a perfect conversation. It's not like that. You have to practice, and you have to get better at speaking, honestly, and saying what you mean and saying it in a way that really shows what you need. But at the same time, God knows that we aren't perfect, and even if we come to Him all broken and messed up and unknown of where our next step is or how that day is going to go, it's still beautiful, and He can still help us through it. So that's kind of my encouragement to you, is just to spend some time praying. Pray about anything, pray about everything, and pray without ceasing. That's my encouragement, and that's something that I am trying my best to live by going forward and forever. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into a little bit of a life update. So let's just be frank and say that life is about to get pretty crazy. School starts back for me tomorrow, actually, as I'm filming this. I have my first class the day that school starts back. So I'm kind of nervous about it, only because it's at a different campus, and so it's not one that I'm familiar with. And just the way that, virtual college is kind of playing out, I have heard nothing from my professors yet. So tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. But even though I am very nervous about, actually getting to class on time and in one piece with my head in the right place, I am also very excited for what this next season is going to teach me. I am so thrilled for every single one of my classes. I am really excited to learn these new things. I'm studying accounting, if you don't already know, and so I have more classes regarding that, and I am really excited to just learn new areas in this field that I am not super familiar with, but eager to learn about. And yeah, I'm also starting something else new this week that I'm going to wait and share a little bit later, but I'm excited about it. It's a new season is starting, and even though it is, a little bit scary because it's unknown and there's some answers that, or some questions that aren't answered yet, I'm excited to see everything that I'm going to learn and everything that God is going to teach me. So yeah, it's a week of making new routines, new schedules, figuring out how to plan my day in a way that gets everything done, but is also doable, which is proving to be a challenge. But yeah, I'm excited. So I hope that you all continue to have an amazing week, or if your week hasn't been so great, I hope that it quickly turns around for you. I am so excited and so grateful that you took this time out of your day to watch me talk about all these projects, and I would love to hear what you are working on in the comments down below, so don't hesitate to comment and reach out to me because I want to keep these conversations going. Of course, don't forget to check out the links below and follow me on my other social media platforms. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye.